In this video, we're going to talk about the two growth mistakes that law firms make when trying to grow their law firms. Now, the first mistake is always looking at advertising as an expense. Advertising really should be looked at as an investment, right? And a lot of times the reason that lawyers look at advertising as an expense is because of the second mistake they make, and that is sending traffic to an incomplete system that is not designed to make them money, right? So what you have to look at is, look at traffic. Traffic meaning when you actually go out and you run an ad and you get visitors to go to your website or your landing page or wherever it is. Look at traffic kind of like sand, right? If you were to go to the beach and get a bucket of sand and go to somebody and say, hey, would you like to buy this sand? They're probably not going to be interested in buying that sand, right? But sand, just like traffic, is a raw material, right? Once you actually have a process to convert that sand into something like glass, you could heat it up and make glass, or you could mold it and you could heat it also and make bricks and build a castle out of it if you wanted to. Just like sand, traffic, once you put it through a refinement process that will convert it into something else, you can actually make money with it. And that is the beauty of traffic, right? But you have to have that process in place. Now, today I want to talk to you about what that process is and how you can put that process in place for your law firm. But first, I want to kind of show you something that most lawyers don't really consider, right? Let's say this is your market, right? This is basically everybody in your market who could potentially hire you, right? Now, let's say, we're just going to be optimistic. Let's say that half of the people in your market don't actually need a lawyer right now. It's probably more than that, but let's just say that, right? Now, the thing is that 97% of people who need a product or a service, so 97% of people who need a lawyer are not yet ready to hire one. So what does that mean? That means that only 3%, let's say this right here, this is probably smaller than 3% right here. But if this is 97% right here, this is 97% of the market, and this represents 3% of the market, right? So the problem is that a lot of times what's happening is that lawyers are going after this 3%. What they're doing is they're just targeting this 3%, and they're completely ignoring the 97%, right? That's basically the equivalent of not having a system in place to turn the sand into glass or to turn the sand into stone or brick or whatever it is, right? Now, if you just understand how you can convert the sand, or the traffic in your case, into something that actually will produce you money, then what ends up happening is this 97% right here becomes very attractive. And the reason why is because, like 97% of the traffic is here, 97% of the lawyers in your market, 97% of the competition is going for these people right here. So the question is, would you rather compete with 97% of the people in your market, or would you rather compete with just like one or two other law firms in your market by going after these guys right here? Now, what I want to show you is a really cool concept that most people don't understand, right? And this is the concept of a funnel. Now, funnels become kind of a big buzzword lately, right? But there's different phases to a funnel, and once you understand the different phases, then you can understand how you can use them to grow your law firm. So the first part is the no problem or unaware, right? These are people that don't have a problem, or they don't know they have a problem. So for example, if you're a car accident lawyer, these are people that maybe haven't been in a car accident yet. Or if you're a criminal defense attorney, it's people that they haven't gotten arrested. If you're a family law attorney, it's the people who their spouse has not cheated, or they haven't found out yet, right? Or unaware. If you're an estate planning attorney, pretty much everybody needs an estate plan, or at least a will or a trust or something, right? But a lot of people don't realize that they need it, right? So they could be people that do need your service, but they're not aware that they need your service, right? Now, the second one is the research phase. So what does that mean? That means that, let's say someone did not have a car accident, and then they get into a car accident. Well, now they've gone from no problem to they have a problem. Now, the first thing that people typically do is they start researching. They start Googling things like, how do I get my car fixed? How do I deal with my back pain? Should I go to a doctor? all these different questions that they have. Maybe it's about how do they get their medical bills paid. Maybe it's whatever the questions are. This is where they start doing all the research, right? All those Googleable keywords. This right here is where the 97% live. This is where 97% of the people who will eventually need a lawyer but are not yet ready to hire you, this is where they live, in the research phase, right? Now, once they're finished with the research phase, they graduate onto the vendor selection. Vendor selection. This is where they're going to Google and they're searching personal injury attorney near me, or criminal defense attorney near me, or DUI attorney near me, or divorce lawyer near me, and all those different specific buyer keywords. Now, again, this only makes up 3% of the market. Now, the other problem is that this right here, this is where 97% of the advertising goes, right? So when you've got 97% of the lawyers targeting 3% of the available cases, what ends up happening? Well, because supply is really low, costs go really high. And you'll know, anyone who's tried to bid on car accident lawyer or divorce lawyer or criminal defense lawyer, you know those prices are through the roof. This is why. It's because of the fact that you're competing against 97% of the other attorneys in your market for 3% of the market share, right? Now, after they go into vendor selection, what ends up happening is they then make a hire, right? That is where they pick their vendor, they pick their attorney, and they hire. Now, here's something that's really cool. This is a cheat code to this entire process, so I want you to pay attention to this, right? 95% of people who are in the research phase, they prefer to hire the company that helped them perform the research. I'll say that again. 95% of the people who are in the research phase have indicated, and this is through surveys, that they prefer to hire the company that helped them perform the research. So what does that mean? That means that if you help them perform the research and help them solve problems, then they're going to skip the vendor selection and they're going to go straight to hiring you, right? Now, here's the really cool part about this also. Because only 3% or so are actually, 3% of the lawyers are actually targeting this one right here. What that means is that the cost is very, very low at the research phase, right? It's super, super low. So you can get great deals on traffic at the research phase, right? And here, as you already know, traffic is extremely expensive here. I remember we did a campaign for a construction accident lawyer in New York City, and we were bidding $250 a click just for construction accident cases in New York City, right? And that's an extreme case, but it is not unheard of to pay $100 a click or $150 a click for car accident cases in certain markets. And that's because there are so few cases and so many attorneys trying to go after them. So it's just, it's a bidding war all the way to the top, right? So the next question is, how do you perform this research? How do you actually prove you can help them by actually helping them so that they will go ahead and bypass, oops, we don't want to use red on that, so that what ends up happening is they bypass the research section and they go right to the hire section. How do you do this? Well, you do this through something that I call hybrid marketing, right? Now, the first thing you need to understand about this is that there are 3 types of traffic, right? So 3 types of traffic. The first type of traffic is traffic you control. Now, traffic you control is things like AdWords or things like Facebook ads, really any kind of advertising, right? Because what happens? You spend money and traffic turns on. However, the second you stop spending money, that traffic turns off, right? You could spend $1 million a day and get all the traffic in the world, but then tomorrow you turn it off and it's lights out. It's like it was never there, right? So that's traffic that you control. The second type of traffic is traffic that you don't control. Now, traffic you don't control is things like referrals and things like SEO and stuff like that. Now, you can influence these types of traffic, but you don't control them. Nobody can go to Google and say, hey, rank me on the first page of Google, right? You can definitely do SEO. You can definitely work referral partnerships and all that type of stuff, but you can't control these types of traffic, right? So your goal, everything that you should try to do is take all these traffic systems, all the traffic that you control and all the traffic that you don't control, and you want to convert it into traffic that you own. What is traffic that you own? Traffic that you own is where you have their email address, where you have their telephone number, where you have their physical mailing address, right? That is where you can contact these people over and over and over and over again without having to pay for it. You can send them an email every single day if you want to, and you don't have to pay for it outside of the actual email provider software, right? That's the only thing you have to pay for, which is like $20 a month. It's not that expensive, right? Even remarketing, which is very, very important. I'm not saying that traffic you control and traffic you don't control isn't good. I'm just saying you can't rely on it, right? Because let's say you build up a retargeting list, which is really good. That's where when you go to a website, let's say you're on Amazon or you're on Wayfair and you're looking at a toaster and you leave the website without buying that toaster, and all of a sudden you see ads for that toaster everywhere, right? That's remarketing, right? And what you're doing is basically you're telling the ad platforms, you're telling Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or Google or whatever platform it is to continue showing ads to people that came to that page. That's great, and that's absolutely fantastic, and I do that all day long. The problem is that if for some reason one of those ad accounts decides that they don't like you, let's say Mark Zuckerberg wakes up and says, I hate all lawyers, or whatever reason they think you broke some policy, then they shut you down and all of your advertising goes away, right? Now, if you have traffic that you own where you actually have the email address, the phone number, and the mailing address, then you can continue to contact them, right? That's why that's so important. So how do you convert traffic from traffic you control and traffic that you don't control into traffic that you own? Well, it's really easy. It's actually a very simple process. The first thing that you want to do, what I always do, is I start by running an ad that takes people to a landing page that contains some sort of download or some sort of thing that they would be willing to trade their email address or their phone number for in exchange for the value. Right? So it can be a cheat sheet, it can be a video, it can be anything, right? We've seen lawyers that give away, like we've seen estate planning attorneys that give away healthcare directives and free powers of attorney and stuff like that. Enter your email address and we'll give you this healthcare directive and also step-by-step instructions on how to fill it out. Something of value, right? So what you do, the really, really easy way to do this is figure out a very simple problem that your ideal clients have, right? And you want to make the download or the bait, you want it to solve that problem, a very simple problem, right? So, just think about all the different problems that your clients have and create a very simple guide to solving that problem, right? Then what you're going to do is you're going to build the landing page, and they have to enter their email address or their phone number, ideally both, to get the solution to the problem that they have. Again, this is not about you. This is only about them and the problem that they have, right? Because the only reason anyone ever hires an attorney is because they have a problem. They don't do it because you're Martindale Hubbell AV rated. They don't do it because you're a super lawyer. They don't do it because of all your verdicts and settlements. They do it because they have a problem that only you can solve, right? Nobody goes and buys a shovel if they don't need a hole, right? If holes dug themselves, shovels would not exist, right? So you got to look at yourself that way. I hate to put it that way, but you're kind of like a shovel, right? They have a problem. You're the solution to that problem. So what you need to do is think about a problem that your ideal clients have. And then you're going to create an ad. Now, this ad should only advertise that they have a problem and you have the solution to that problem. So, for example, let's say you're a car accident lawyer and they say, and the problem is I can't get my medical bills paid, right? Because the car insurance company is denying my claim. So you could create a video or create something that says, if you were in a car accident and your medical bills are being not covered, or the car insurance company is denying coverage of your medical bills, I put together a free guide that shows you 3 ways that you can get your medical bills paid and get the care that you need. All you have to do is click the link, include it with this video, enter your email address, and I'll send it right over. If you're a DUI attorney, right? Let's say you're a DUI attorney. If you were recently arrested for DUI Did you know that there's actually still a way that you can drive to work, you can drive to school, you can drive to church? Well, in this video, what I want you to do is I want you to click the link included around this video, and then I want you to enter your email address, and I'm going to show you what these 3 ways are that you can still drive to work, you can still drive to church, you can still do this so that you can continue to make money, right? And I don't know if these things are real or not. I'm just saying, come up with find a problem that they have, come up with a solution, put it in there, and then your ad should advertise the solution. Now, once they go in here, you get their email address, and then what you can do is you can send them emails. You can send them value emails, right? Now, here's the trick with these emails. These emails should be value, right? You should not be advertising your services. You should be helping them perform the research that you know that they are already doing. Because what did we say? We said that 95% of people 95% of people prefer to hire the company that helps them do the research, right? So what you need to do is you need to figure out what is every question that they have, what's every concern they have, what's every fear that they have, create value surrounding each one of those things, and send it to them every day via email. They're going to watch the videos, and they're going to see that you're helping them do the research. You're going to give them enough information, and then eventually what's going to happen is they're going to skip the vendor selection altogether. These people are gone, and they're going to go right to you, and they're going to call you, right? That's called hybrid marketing. It's the easiest way to grow a business. It's the easiest way to grow a law firm. I've seen law firms make millions of dollars using this exact strategy after I've taught it to them, right? So try hybrid marketing for your law firm, and it will change the way that you do business.